Madness isn't just for basketball. Tonight here at Magnus Arena, we've got great gymnastics. It's the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships. Hi everyone. Mike Evans along with former DU gymnast Marcy Jenkins. And just a few moments ago, Marcy talked to DU coach Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt about this conference, only in its second year.
You know, I think it makes for such a great conference championship that all 5 teams are as strong as they are, and that's what you want. You want to be able to come out and watch really strong quality gymnastics. You know, we're not concerned anymore about the scores or beating another team. We're focused on what we do and taking one person at a time and one event at a time. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, Marcy, we take a look at the conference standings, and 3 of the 5 teams nationally ranked.
They are. Denver and Boise State are extremely strong. They're ranked 14th and 15th in the nation right now. But this entire conference has a lot of depth. As you can see, the lowest average score is a 195.365, which is a strong score. They've all got difficulty, and it's really going to come down to who can stick those landings and execute well in the very difficult moves that a lot of these gymnasts are going to be doing today.
Let's take a look at these ranked teams. Denver, as you mentioned, 14th in the nation, defending conference champions. Do they look poised to repeat?
They do. They look great. They're coming off of a tie last week against Arizona. They're just so strong. Nina McGee is ranked 1st in the nation on floor, tied with a few other gymnasts. Just so strong and such a great confidence builder for the team coming off of that meet last week.
Boise State right on Denver's heels, 15th in the nation. What's their strengths?
Their strengths are pretty much every event. They've got great depth across their entire lineup. They've got some standouts. There's the senior Sierra. She's just beautiful on all 4 events. So if they can hit, they're going to be the toughest competition for DU tonight.
Southern Utah also ranked 23rd. What do they need to do to perhaps sneak away with the title?
Well, I think they're really going to have to look to DU or Boise State to make a little bit of a mistake to slide in there. Their difficulty isn't quite as high as the other 2 teams, but they can surprise you. So really, if they hit every single landing and execute well, they could sneak in there.
We're getting ready for a terrific night. Sit back and enjoy great gymnastics. The first rotation is coming up from the Mountain Rim Gymnastic Conference Championships right here on Altitude. Ready to get these Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships underway with rotation 1. Denver will start on vault. BYU will be on the floor. Just to let you know how this is going, there are 5 teams, of course, but during each rotation, Marcy, 1 team will sit out. In this first rotation will be Southern Utah, but we'll be focusing on Denver and BYU. We'll give you some highlights of Utah State and Boise State here in just a second, but we start on the on the vault for Denver with Nicole Addison.
And Nicole is a strong vaulter. She actually hasn't competed in the lineup the last several meets on vault. She was a last-minute add-in as first up, but her warm-ups looked great. This is going to be a critical start for the Pioneers on vault. They really need to have a powerful vault here and hopefully a stuck landing, so we'll see if she's able to deliver.
Nicole Addison on the vault. This is the first time she's competed since February 7th. Denver, 14th in the nation. Looking for a strong showing tonight to qualify and move on for NCAA regionals, both as team and individuals. Here we go.
Nicole's a very powerful vaulter. We'll see she's going to do Yurchenko, which is round-off entry vault. She's doing a handspring on the vault, full twist, and a little step on the landing. That'll be about a 10th and a half of a deduction, but good start for the Pioneers. Nice amplitude. She really didn't have a whole lot for the judges to take off besides that landing. Watch this. She gets a great block. Legs a little bit apart. The judges could take a little bit for that if they want, and again, that step on the landing, but a good start for the Pioneers.
BYU starts on the floor with Ashley Robinson.
You can see Ashley's average this season a 9.65. Round off double tuck. Gymnasts are required to do 3 tumbling passes. Ideally, they want to do some back tumbling and front tumbling within those 3 passes. Floor is a great place to start in a meet like this. You get a little bit of nerves coming in, and you can really use that to your advantage. Second pass here for handspring, front fold to punch front. A little bit short there, but was able to pull it out. into a front full. A little bit of slip there on the landing, but again, she was able to finish that, stay on her feet. Jump series at the end. And nice start for BYU. She left a little bit for the judges to take off, but I'm sure they're happy with that as their first performer in the meet tonight. Here's her first pass. She's going to do a round off double tuck. Usually you'll see a back handspring between that, but nice first pass.
Ashley Robinson kicking things off for BYU on the floor. Next up for Denver on the vault, it's Julia Ross, a 9.8 her average, as you see.
Denver's got a very strong vault team. Another Yurchenko entry. And she really took a small step on that, a small hop on that landing. She was trying to save it. Great execution. Watch her legs here in the air. See the block, legs together, toes pointed, and just a tiny little hop on the landing. Small deduction, but overall great vault.
We roll on. Second up for BYU on the floor, it's Kylie Greenleaf. Sophomore from Manhattan Beach, California.
We're just waiting for the judges. Usually the first routine of the meet, they kind of need to make sure they're all on the same page. We actually have 4 judges judging each event. It's required for conference championships and regionals and nationals.
While this is going on, Boise State is on the beam, Utah State on bars. You mentioned Denver, strong vaulting team. Meet average over 49 points per.
And that's a great place for them to start. It's actually where you'd like to start. Your competition is on vault. Double tuck. And you'll just see the difficulty as we watch some of the other programs, especially Boise and Denver. If we see them on the floor tonight, you'll just see a little bit more amplitude, a little bit more difficulty in their tumbling passes. Front handspring, front layout, front full. Oh, she stepped out of bounds. That'll be a 10th of a deduction. The gymnasts are required to stay inside the bounds of the floor. If they do step out, it's a 10th off automatically from whatever score the judges give them at the end of the routine. And there are 6 competitors on every event, and 5 scores count toward the team total. So you can drop the lowest score. Front handspring, front 1.5. That was a nice third pass. And a strong routine, little step out of bounds. So we won't see that huge score we expect to see from some of the other teams here tonight, but strong second routine for BYU. Here's that second pass. Front layout, front full. You see, she just went a little bit too far out of bounds, and that'll be that 10th off.
Next up for Denver on the vault, it'll be Emily Barrett.
Emily, again, a strong vaulter for the Pioneers, has vaulted a number of meets this season. She also does a Yurchenko front with a half, blind landing, very difficult to stick that. She just had a little bit of movement there at the very end, but her form and the height and the block and the twist was great. Watch this. So she does a little bit different than we're going to see from some of the other gymnasts. She does a round off and then a half instead of a full. It's that blind landing. Very difficult, but great execution.
Third up for the BYU Cougars, it's Jordan Schultz. Strong results this season on the floor. And in a meets like this, these first performers, how important is it in terms of setting the tone for the entire event.
It actually does for the entire event, especially for them on that rotation. So the judges get an impression of what these teams are capable of doing in their first few athletes. So the better they can do in these first folks out, the higher the potential scores for the rest of their gymnasts. And usually you put your best gymnast last because the scores do build over the course of the rotation.
So it's finding that balance between you get your best at the end, but you do want to have good enough ones at the beginning to set that tone, right?
At the start, exactly. And she's one of their seniors this year.
From right here in Colorado, from Littleton.
Which is fun for her to come and compete in front of her home crowd. Nice double tuck. And the judges are really looking for those leaps and turns to be complete. So a full split and then making it all the way around if it's a half turn or a full turn. There's deductions they can take if they do not make it all the way around. And punch front 1.5. Difficult to do without any skills leading into it. Her last pass. And 1.5 twist into a granny. That was a nice finish. That was a good solid routine for them. We should see a strong score like she has in her average.
Jordan Schultz.
Here's that strong last pass. So it's a 1.5 twist into a front with a half twist. It's called a granny, and a great job on execution there.
Maggie Laughlin up next for DU.
That was a big step on the landing. That's unfortunate. She has such a unique vault, something different that we don't see from a lot of the other gymnasts, which is something that judges appreciate. And seeing in the different teams. Watch her. She's going to do a round off entry, but she has a half on and then a pike front. She just held on to that pike a little bit too long, which caused her to over rotate a bit, and she had to take that big step. So that may be the score that DU decides to drop. Again, they can drop one score of the gymnasts that we see competing to count for the team total.
Emily Vidmar waiting her turn on the floor for BYU. We'll update you on scores here as we move along. Vidmar, junior from San Clemente, California.
And that was a 2.5 twist. Really see each gymnast's personality in their floor routine. Front handspring full. Little short there on the landing. Let's take a step back.
Vidmar's season high, a 9.825. Twice she did that, back-to-back meets just about in the last few weeks.
She is a very strong dancer. That's something the judges like to see, not just someone who can tumble well, but someone who has strong leaps and dance. Just resting up here. And 1.5 twist into a front layout. Nice job. And a strong finish. That was a nice floor routine. A little bit of deductions here and there, but another great solid performance. You can see her pass here. She does a 1.5 twist into a punch front layout. A little bit short there, but was able to hold on to it without any steps.
Right here, a look at Denver's top all-around gymnast, Nina McGee.
And Nina is a powerhouse on vault. She's capable of sticking, perfect landing. Nice job. That was a beautiful vault. We'll have to see what the judges do with that. They could give a little bit of a deduction for slight movement there on the landing, but watch the height she gets here. She does a half on, full twist, and a little hop on the landing, not quite stuck, but a great job.
As we wait for Casey Gassaway on the floor for BYU. Well, let's take a look at her. We'll have plenty of chance to talk about Nina McGee throughout the course of the meet.
We will. And she's another one of the seniors on the team this year. It's 2.5 twists to a punch front. Nice first pass, a little low, but she executed well. Second pass. Front handspring, front layout, front layout. Nice height and distance there. Scissor side lead to a straddle jump. Nice split.
Made a good observation last time, is that so many times you're using this time to rest.
You are. That last pass, especially at altitude. I mean, a lot of these teams are from Utah, but it has an impact on you when you're doing your floor routine because it takes it all out of you. But punch front 1.5 twist. Nice last pass. She didn't have any problems. And a good solid routine.
Casey Gassaway for BYU as we move through this first rotation. Take another look.
And punch front layout. Nice second pass.
Denver's last performer, Rachel Felix.
Nice stuck landing. That was a great vault. She gets so high off the horse. Her form in the air, watch this. So she punches out of her shoulders really high, was able to spot that landing and didn't move. That's exactly what Denver needed to finish off this rotation.
Maybe because she's 5'7", the tallest gymnast for DU, it looks like she gets higher.
It does look like she does technically, but she has so much power for that height. She's really got to compensate with lots of power to make that vault happen.
Mackenzie Johnson, final up on the floor for BYU.
And Mackenzie was Conference Gymnast of the Week recently. Double tuck. Little jump out there. It looked like she just lost a little bit of awareness there and popped out a little too soon in her tuck. Front handspring, front 1.5. Nice second pass. Nice leap, scissor ring leap, and jump to splits. Scissor side, look at the split she gets on those jumps, just great amplitude.
Four times this year, she posted 9 9s on this floor exercise.
And unfortunately, I don't think we'll see that after that little miss there on the first pass, which is unfortunate because that was a beautiful final pass to finish up this routine. It's what the judges will remember. So strong performance, probably not exactly what they wanted as their last performance on floor, but a great routine. And we'll see here, that last pass, just a great finish.
That'll do it for coverage of rotation 1. Denver on the vault, BYU on the floor. We'll let you know how Utah State did on the bars and Boise State on the beam. We'll get you caught up on the rotation 1 stats and highlights and preview rotation 2. You're watching the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships on Altitude. Rotation 1 in the books here at the University of Denver, Magnus Arena, as we are waiting for our rotation 1 scores. While we're watching Denver on the vault and BYU on the floor, Utah State was competing on the bars. And let's check out some of their performers, starting with Bailey McIntyre.
And Utah had a great rotation. We're looking at a dismount here. She does a full twisting double flyaway, little step on the landing, and I can't say how much those steps on the landing are going to count in this competition. See another dismount here from Sarah Landis, another full twisting double flyaway. A little movement on the landing, a little bit better stick for her. And then finally we'll see Mackenzie Martinez. Nice Ginger, straddle Ginger release move. And then her transition back to the low bar. Judges are really looking for those handstands.
Boise State on the balance beam, Leanne Josbacher.
And her dismount, which was a 1.5 twist, nice stuck landing. Another dismount from them, a punch roll, nice stuck landing. They're really making sure not to give away those tenths, which is going to be critical. And one more, 1.5 twist. They had 3 performers stick landing in that rotation.
That was Paige Urquhart, and right before that, Molly McFarland. Denver, we know they're strong on the vault. They were strong yet again. They dropped their lowest score. That was Nicole Addison's 9.750.
And that's a great rotation for them. It's not their best score they've ever had on vault, but it's solid. 49.150 is great, and they had that 9.9 from Rachel Felix.
So Denver will sit out as we take a look at Utah State on the bars.
And they had a strong bar performance, 48.625. Not quite, I don't think, what they would have liked to have. You'd like to see a little bit more 9/8s, but strong bars for that team.
Meanwhile, Boise State on the beam.
As you can see, they had a 9.1 and a 9.6, not ideal for them. The other 2 routines that we saw had those stuck landings. They really knew they had to count those to get back up a 48.775.
And we just saw BYU on the floor. Here are their scores.
And they had a 48.725. You can see there they dropped the 9.675, a few 9.7s and 1.98. Again, strong performance, but we would expect to see a little bit higher from Boise and from Denver on floor.
Rotation 2 is coming up next. We'll have Southern Utah on the bars, Utah State on the beam. You're watching Mountain West Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships on Altitude. Mountain Rim Championships here on Altitude, set for rotation 2. We're going to get our first look at Southern Utah. They're going to be on the bars. 5 schools competing, so 1 sits out each rotation. So this will be the first we'll see of Southern Utah. They sat out that first rotation.
They did. So this will be their first event in this competition. It'll be critical for them to get their momentum going. Obviously, we'll see Utah State on beam. They competed previously, so they've got a little bit of a rotation under their belt.
Southern Utah on bars, Tylee Bizzuto.
Giant swing, giant with a full, an overshoot. The judges are really looking for the gymnast to hit those handstands right on top. Nice handstand there. Giant swing, giant with a full, into a double flyaway. Not the most difficult routine, but she stuck the landing, so she really didn't leave a whole lot for the judges to take off in execution. Her difficulty just isn't quite that we see of some of the other gymnasts. Here's a giant full into a double flyaway. She gets bonus tenths for that connection, which allow her to get the higher start values.
She was happy with it. Tylee Bizzuto averaged 9.85 throughout the course of the season. Now we watch Utah State on the beam with Jillian Chappell.
You can see her average there, 9.513.
She's only competed, Marcy, 3 times this season on the beam.
Back handspring layout, step out, nice, right over the middle. This first performance on beam does really set the tone for the team. Scissor leap into a sheep jump. Very difficult to take your head away from the beam, and you get extra bonus tenths for that. And that's a one-legged front flip. She really is very solid, just very confident. And a gainer full off the side. That was probably the best performance they could have asked for from her on the beam to start off this rotation. This is her dismount. Not the most difficult dismount. It's a gainer full off the side, but a nice stuck landing.
How about Chappell stepping up? Again, only 3 times this season. 9.5, 9.8, and 9.2. And that looks like that'll get a good score.
That will definitely get a solid score for them for that
Here
first routine.
is Rochelle Bernier for Southern Utah on the
Nice
bars.
Handstand. Giant with a half. Straddle front Jaeger. She just let go a little bit too soon. Didn't get quite enough height to catch the bar. She's disappointed. So the gymnasts have 30 seconds to kind of get their composure and get back up and finish their routine. It's difficult when you fall in a release move like that because you have momentum that carries you into the next skill you were supposed to do after that one. So she kind of has to get up and improv a little bit in her routine. That was a nice overshoot.
Deduction you look at when you fall like that.
A 5/10 of a point, but then she'll miss the connection she had, so probably a little bit more. That's a double full flyaway. That was a beautiful routine other than that fall. So it'll definitely be the score that they want to drop in this rotation. So here's that fall. See, she just didn't quite hold on high enough. She didn't get enough lift in her heels before she let go. And this dismount here, giant full into a double twisting flyaway. Great job, but just disappointment.
Sarah Landis on the beam now for Utah State.
And Sarah was also a Gymnast of the Week here in the conference this year. Full turn, little bobble there, but hopefully she'll be able to regain her composure. And her acrobatic series coming up. The handspring layout step out. Just seems a little bit tentative.
Landis, an all-around performer for Utah State, but this is the weakest of her 4 exercises.
She just did a great leap series. The judges are looking for those connections to give them credit. A little bit of a break there, but a nice connection into her dismount. It'll be interesting to see if the judges give her that connection or not.
Kind of battled through that whole routine, didn't she?
She did battle a little bit. There's a leap, little bit of a pause there. Aerial cartwheel into a full. That's a very difficult series to do for your dismount, so we'll see what the judges do. But a solid routine, but she left room for some deductions.
Next up, Danielle Ramirez for Southern Utah as we continue on rotation 2 on the bars.
And as I mentioned, each of the gymnasts are required to do certain elements in their routine that get them to a basic start value. And then from there, the more difficult skills they do get them bonus tenths, which get them to that 10-0 start value where they start deducting. And it's connections like that and that release move connection there that get them those bonus tenths. Nice handstand. She really has great toe point and execution. Giant full, double flyaway. And a good stuck landing. That routine actually had quite a bit of difficulty in her moves and transitions between the bars, so we should see a strong score. Nice handstand there. Again, judges are looking for that. Giant full. A little bit of pause there on top, but double flyaway and no movement.
For Utah State now, as they continue on the beam, their 3rd performer is Charlie Belliston.
direction. She kept it moving. She should get credit for that. Spike handspring layout, step out, right over the center. Scissor split leap into a straddle jump. Nice split there and amplitude in those jumps. And dismount, nice tuck landing. Another great beam routine for Utah State. And then really just hear that dismount a lot of the gymnasts do. Gainer fall off the side, but no movement.
For Southern Utah, Jamie Armageau.
Nice front giant. Nice transition to the low bar. We really haven't seen any big release moves from her. Nice layout, double flyaway, hop on the landing. That was a good, solid routine, just not as much difficulty as we've seen from some of the other gymnasts. And watch this, she does two flips in the layout position, a little bit of pike, you can see pike down a teeny bit and had to take a little hop on the landing, but a strong, well-executed bar routine.
Mackenzie Martinez getting the pep talk right before she gets up on the beam. Martinez, another all-around performer for Utah State. She'll compete in all events.
Nice tour jeté with a full turn. That is actually a very difficult leap to do on the beam. She did it very well.
Competing with that knee brace. Challenges there?
A little bit. I actually tore my knee sophomore year and had to wear a brace as well, and you actually do have to adjust quite a bit, and those are the types of skills that are the hardest because it does add a little bit of weight, and if you're a teeny bit off, it's harder to stay on the beam. Nice full turn. So again, that fall is going to be 5/10 of a point deduction. They're going to want to drop that score. But she still wants to finish strong and leave a good impression in the judges' minds before the next gymnast comes up and competes. She's also in the all-around hunt, so she is going to want to finish this strong. And punch front full. Nice landing, just unfortunate fall. Right there in the middle of her routine.
See the disappointment on her face.
And dismount, punch front full. Nice landing.
Takes a lot of mental toughness, doesn't it, when you have an early fall like that to keep it together and finish that routine.
It does, and she did a great job. It's just hard knowing that you're not going to get anything higher than a 9.5.
Kirsten Yee for Southern Utah.
Nice release move. That was a great transition between those two skills. Nice height. Getting ready for her dismount. Layout, double flyaway. Little step on the landing, but that was a great routine. And it's really going to come down to those landings. When you execute the routine that well, you really want to stick that landing. Watch this. Front giant into a piked front Jaeger. Just great height, perfect positioning. Transition to the high bar.
Southern Utah does have a 9.0 as their low score that obviously they want that to be the score they drop. Haley Sanzati, second to last performer for Utah State here on the beam.
And other than the fall they've had a solid rotation so far on the beam, but she's got a lot of pressure. She's got to recover. They need to count this score on the beam. action. Good leap series. A little bit of originality there on the beam. The judges do like to see that. A lot of the gymnasts do the same skills, and it's nice to see them do something a little unique and different in the routine. Leap series. And all she really has left is her dismount. A little bit of bobble there, balance check. Gainer fell off the side again and a nice stuck landing. A lot of the gymnasts do that dismount because it is one of the easier dismounts to stick. It's a little strategic in a way, because you see the floor the whole time. Gainer, 3, and 4, and you can just really plant the feet and stay there.
Utah State's previous, well, we'll tell you about that right after we watch Arlen Amore.
And nice giant with a half. Beautiful straddle back to handstand. Good handstand there. Getting ready for her dismount. Layout double flyaway. And great routine. She really didn't leave anything for the judges to take off. Her handstands are right over the top. Her form was beautiful. And watch this. This is a very difficult grip on the high bar into a straddle back to handstand. Something we don't always see, but just a great job.
Joanna Cuba getting ready to go after Haley Zanzotti gave him a strong performance on the beam after they had their lowest score of this rotation, a 9.175. So trying to have that be the score as they drop that one. Finish strong here on the beam.
She's showing her flexibility to start. Very unique mount. Walkover into a back handspring chest roll. Difficult combination. Nice full turn. She really is moving well on the beam. A little bit off there. She was supposed to do that split jump and land sideways, but bobbled just a little bit. Her chest was a little low. And punch front full. That was a good routine. That deduction in the middle is unfortunate because up until then she had a solid performance. That's going to be about 2 to 3 tenths. So and there's the aerial walkover into the back handspring chest roll. Again, very difficult and unique combination.
Some bonus coverage here. Let's watch Sierra Perkins on the floor for Boise State. Boise's been on the floor while BYU's been on the vault.
And Sierra is their final performer on floor. She is one of their strongest athletes. And this first pass is very dynamic. She's a senior this year.
Don't see too many floor routines to Guns N' Roses, do you?
This first pass. Full twisting double back. Great job. Just dropped out of it. Nice leaps there. Judges could pick off a little bit for her split in those leaps. It wasn't quite 180 degrees. We'll just have to see what they decide to deduct. And that was a nice second pass. Really trying to get the crowd into her floor routine. And last pass here. Double tuck. Look at that height. Just popped right out of it. And that was a strong routine. She left a little bit of deductions here and there for the judges to take, but you can see she's super excited about that. Here's that first pass. Watch the height she gets. She goes up, does a full twist on the first flip, and another one, and just falls out of the sky. Great job.
Sierra Perkins on the floor for Boise State. When we come back, we'll have the rotation 2 results, more highlights of BYU on the vault, and more with Boise State on the floor. You're watching the Mountain Rim Championships here on Altitude. Good crowd here at the University of Denver, Magnus Arena, watching the Mountain Rim Championships, rotation 2, while we were watching Southern Utah on the bars, Utah State on the beam. BYU was competing on the vault. Let's check out some of their highlights, starting with Sinto.
And she did a Yurchenko full. Little step on the landing, a little pike down there, so slight deductions, but a good vault for them. And one of their seniors, Yurchenko half, little step on the landing, but again, that blind landing, very difficult, high start value, so that'll be a good score they'll want to count. And another full twisting Yurchenko, tiny little hop on the landing, but great height. She was able to open out and really focus on that landing.
Jordan Schultz and Mackenzie Johnson, the last 2 performers. Here's Maddie Krentz for Boise State on the floor.
Double pike. Great pass for them. Nice height. Another double pike. You see just the difficulty of these floor routines compared to some of the others that we saw from BYU. Double tuck. Nice routine. That was her last pass too.
Let's take a look at the scores of rotation 2. We watched Southern Utah on the bars, and very good scores.
They did. They were able to drop the one score where they had the fall, which was great, and then they had 4 9/8, which is really, really strong for them on bars. 49 is a solid team score for that rotation.
Utah State, solid, not spectacular.
Not spectacular. They had a few bobbles there on beam. You see they had to drop the 9.175, mostly 9.7s and 9.8. 48.825 is a good score for them.
Boise State Broncos on the floor.
And they had a 49.175, again, very strong. They had mostly 9.8s. All the scores they counted toward their team score were at 9.8. So just another strong floor performance for them.
And BYU on the vault.
And it looks like we're waiting for the last score to come in.
That's from Rachel Tucker.
So they have 4 9.7s and a 9.8. So a strong vault performance for them. We'll find out that team score at the end of the next rotation.
All right, we'll get set for rotation 3. We'll watch Boise State on the vault, Southern Utah on the beam. It's the Mountain Rim Championships here on Altitude. Getting set for rotation 3 here at the University of Denver. We'll watch Boise State on the vault and Southern Utah on the beam. Denver, which sat out the last rotation, back in action on the bars. Utah State on the floor. BYU will sit out this rotation. We start with Paige Urquhart on the vault, where she had back-to-back 9.8s against Utah State and Ohio State a month ago.
They are strong vaulters, nice stuck landing. They really know that if they're going to stay in here and win this competition, they've got to stick those landings. They're really going to be fighting for those. Watch the height here. Nice distance from the vault and really sought out that landing.
Natalie Trejo first up on the balance beam for Southern Utah.
Nice connection there. Very difficult series. She didn't break at all between those. The judges are looking for those connections. Scissor split leap into a straddle quarter.
Season high 9.875 against BYU earlier this year.
Strong beam performer. Back handspring layout, step out. Little bubble, not bad, really kept things moving. Nice scissor side lead. This has been a good routine for them, a good start. Really just has her dismount here. And round off, double twist, nice landing. Exactly what they needed to kick off that rotation, slight bobbles here and there, but overall a great beam routine. Watch here, she does a round off, double twist. Really spotted that landing, was able to stick it.
Sandra Calentas up next for Boise State on the vault. 2 9.8s this year.
And Yurchenko full. A little hop on the landing, but great height and execution. They really are a strong vault team. We're looking for the block. Look at the distance. The form was great. She had a teeny bit of a pike down, teeny bit, so the judges could take off a little bit there.
Following for Southern Utah on the beam is Danielle Ramirez. Another solid performer on the beam, 9.7s, 9.8s all year long. Tied for 5th in the conference.
Yes,
on
they have
this
a strong
exercise.
beam team, this Utah State does. They've really been working on this year. Walkover into a back handspring, nice connection. Full turn. Scissors, but like nice. As well as jumps into acrobatic, which we saw a little earlier. Aerial cartwheel. They really do look confident in this rotation so far. Really ready to attack and get these routines done. 1.5 twist. Little step on the landing, but that was another great performance for Utah State on the beam.
Danielle Ramirez.
1.5 twist here. A little bit of a blind landing, but great job.
And Stockwell next up for Boise State on the vault.
And look at that height, just dropped right out. Really was fighting for that landing. She got such height on her block. Watch this, she pumps, it looks like she goes up on that rotation. Just a little slight hop on the landing, but another great vault for Boise.
Tremendously consistent, and Stockwell, nothing less than a 9.8 all season long.
You can see why, that vault is amazing.
Now Stacy Webb, look at that, 2nd in the conference on the beam.
And that's a difficult thing to do when you've had this many meets in the season, to be that consistent on this event. right over the middle. She just looks so confident. Scissor side lead, great height, nice split. She's a beautiful dancer on the beam. Aerial cartwheel into a full. Nice job, little bit crooked there, but she did a wonderful beam routine. You can see why she's ranked so high in the conference on beam. Watch this, back handspring, layout step out right over the middle. In this dismount, she does an aerial cartwheel into a full twist. You can see just a little bit crooked there on the mat. It could be a slight deduction if the judges notice that, but a great beam routine.
Maddie Krentz for Boise.
Another Yurchenko full, and again, that stuck landing. They really aren't leaving anything for the judges to take off.
I mentioned Ann Stockwell, nothing less than a 9.8. For Maddie Krentz, nothing less than a 9.825 this year. So you're right, we're watching Boise State excel in maybe their best exercise.
It is one of their best for sure.
Next up, Southern Utah on the beam, it's Tylee Bizzuto.
And she's in a great position here.
Before she gets started, I got, you know, just as a gymnastics novice, I'm always amazed at how, especially on the beam, they're able to maintain concentration while so much is going on, especially the floor exercise with the music and everything.
There's a lot going on, and in practice, they practice with those things. They practice with distractions so that they know how to handle those things when they come up. Sometimes the coaches will blare music in the middle of their routine to see if it can throw them off. It's really interesting, the different techniques the coaches will use to get them ready for meets like this. Nice leap series there. They just look so confident. This entire team just looks like they're ready to attack the beam. Nice full turn. Back handspring, layout step out. A little bit of form break there in her legs, but right over the center of the beam. Another beautiful scissor side lead. And her dismount cartwheel into a gainer pull off the side. Another great routine for Southern Utah.
Tylee Bizzuto.
And back handspring, layout step out. A little bit of form break there in that back leg, but beautiful execution, staying over the center of the beam, and then watch cartwheel into a gainer pull off the side.
Kelsey Morris next up for Boise State.
And watch this vault. She's a great vaulter. Again, one of their seniors. And a nice tuck landing. She was a teeny bit crooked, if you could notice that, on the mats, so the judges could take off for that slightly. But she gets great height, good twist, and a little bit of movement on the landing, but great vault.
Boise State rolling nothing but 9.8 pluses so far through this rotation. Anna Jaworski for Southern Utah on the beam. And again, the cheers you hear, Denver performing on the bars. So an added distraction for these other gymnasts to deal with.
Beautiful mount. And she's only 4'10", so this beam is extra tall for her. That was a beautiful punch front into a jump. She'll get bonus tenths for that connection. She really has been a strong beam worker for this team all year. Round off, layout step out, was able to stay on. Just a little bit crooked, but that is a very difficult series to do on the beam. dismount here. Round off 1.5 twist, stuck landing. She wasn't going to give anything away there. That was a great routine. Little bobble there on her acrobatic series. But watch this mount. This is very unique and difficult. Punch front into a jump right away, no hesitation. And then watch this dismount, 1.5 twist, stuck landing.
Should we alert air traffic control here with Sierra Perkins and the height she's going to get?
She gets great block. Watch the height she gets on this vault. It's like she's soaring in the air, and she can, you can almost see she even just pops out of that layout and spots the landing. Now she did take a slight little bit of a hop, a tiny, tiny bit. We'll see it here. Watch this, watch the height. And then she just pops out of it and spots the landing. She just had to take a little bit of a step back, but a beautiful vault.
She's so high, she actually, you're right, she almost like could gather herself in midair to pop that final move there, yes. Sydney Townsend, final performer for Southern Utah on the beam.
And I really do love this team on beam. They're so unique. They've had very different mounts. They've got different execution, different series. But they're all so good at what they do on this event. Back handspring, layout step out right over the middle.
Sierra Perkins, by the way, a 9.9 for that vault.
Nice leap series. A little over on that full turn, little tiny deduction will be taken for that. And a little bit of moonwalk on the beam. Into a front flip. You can see she's happy. She's probably all she's really got left in this routine is her dismount. And another gainer fall off the side and another stuck landing. They've got to be happy with that performance for their team on that rotation. Just such a great, strong beam presence. Back handspring, layout step out. Little bit of bent leg on that. And gainer full. And then another nice job. They couldn't have asked for a better rotation here at a big meet like this on that event.
Let's take a look at Mackenzie Martinez on the floor here for Utah State. They've been on floor. Denver's been on bars while we've been watching Boise State and Southern Utah. And hopefully Denver and Utah State brought their A game during this rotation, because Boise State and Southern Utah were both fantastic.
They had a great rotation. So again, this is one of their top performers at Utah State.
Working with that cumbersome left knee brace that we saw affect her on the beam.
A little bit. You can see she has a brace on her elbow too, so she's definitely had some injuries this season. Nice height, double pike. Those don't seem to be bothering her at all here on floor. And this team, I know we didn't see any of the other routines, but they do have great choreography on floor.
How's that work? How's that get put together? Each gymnast works their own, or are they coached up on it?
They usually actually bring someone special into the choreography. Some of the coaches actually do some of the choreography themselves, but most bring in somebody who's has a dance background and choreography to do the routines. They really kind of get to know each of the gymnasts and put together a routine that really pulls out their personality. Here, punch front full into a punch front. Great job. And that was a nice, strong finish for them on floor.
Mackenzie Martinez on the floor for Utah State.
See her pass here. really important to finish strong and leave that impression in the judges' minds of what you were capable of doing, and that was just a great finish.
When we come back, we'll get a look at the scores for Boise State on the vault and Southern Utah on the beam, plus take a look at some of the highlights of Denver on the bars and more of Utah State on the floor. You're watching the Mountain Rim Championships live from Denver here on Altitude. Look there at Nina McGee for Denver as they were on the bars in rotation 3. Let's check out some of their highlights. Starting with Julia Ross.
Nice dismount there, good stuck landing. Strong bar routine for her. And then here's Nina. Watch the power here, double flyaway. She had a great routine as well.
And then Rachel Beacon.
And Rachel finishes here with another double layout. They have all double layouts on that. Great job.
Meanwhile, Utah State was competing on the floor. Haley Sanzotti.
And strong tumbling here, double tuck.
Susie Miller.
Another double pike, great job, nice height, easy landing.
And Bailey McIntyre.
And Bailey does a full twisting double tuck, again, something we don't see from a lot of teams. Great job.
Boy, Boise State was tremendous on the vault. I mean, when your lowest score to drop is a couple of 9/8s.
It's great. They had a great performance. They really did exactly what they needed to do, and they even had a couple hops on landings that they could have stuck. So really, they had the potential for a strong score here. But look at this. They really needed to make up some room on the other teams, including Denver.
Denver not as strong. Well, I guess okay on the bars.
They did okay on bars. They had a 9.8 and a 9.9, and then the rest 9.7s. You can see Emily Barrett fell on bars, and she's had a little bit of a struggle this year, but 48.925 is not a bad score for them on bars. It's just not one of their best.
We watched Southern Utah on the beam. Very strong numbers. Really
strong. A 49.175 on beam is just incredible for a team. You can see that they had almost all 9.8s that they counted toward their team score, and just such a strong performance for them.
And Utah State on the floor.
Here, you know, great performance. It wasn't super strong. 48.625 isn't going to keep them up high in terms of the other teams in the overall rankings, and they dropped that 9.5, but everything 9.7 and above is pretty strong.
Fourth rotation coming up, and we'll watch Utah State on the vault, BYU on the bars. Denver coach Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt watching the proceedings here on Altitude. Mountain Rim Championships continue here. Denver will be on the beam. Coach Reinhardt talking up Katie Manhinnick. But we'll be watching Utah State on the vault and BYU on the bars. And let us start on the vault with Bailey McIntyre.
They have a strong vault squad as well. Good job with that full twisting Yurchenko. Pretty big step on the landing, so I would expect the judges to take off 1 to 2 tenths there. But nice height, you see the block. Just had to take a pretty big step. So good start for them, but they really need to be sticking those landings if they're going to try to stay up here in competition with the other teams.
We'll be watching BYU also on the bars. First up for them is Emily Vidmar.
They're just coming off their bye. They had a rotation off, last rotation. Really need to get back into the swing of things here. Nice giant with a half. Into pike front Jaeger, great job. Good handstand there. That's called a free hip to handstand. Overshoot to low bar. A little short of that handstand, but she's moving well. Big straddle to handstand. Giant full, little slow there. Double tuck. And a nice landing. She had the connection she needed to get the bonus tenths, but she left a little bit of room for execution deduction. You'll see here, she does a giant full. See, a little slow there, didn't quite finish on top. So the judges will take off a little bit of a deduction, but she will get her bonus tenths for that connection.
Sarah Landis up next, one of the all-around performers for Utah State.
Full twisting Yurchenko. That was a nice job. not quite as much height as we saw from Boise in the last rotation. You can see she finishes with her head a little bit below the vaulting table. The judges really want to see you finishing a little bit higher, and a little hop on the landing, but it was a strong vault.
Brielle Wilczuk for BYU. You mentioned they sat out that last rotation. They haven't been doing that all season long. They've been able to stay in the flow. How difficult is it to sit out and then get ramped back up again?
It is a little difficult, but you know, in regionals and nationals, that's what happens. You have a bye, and so it's actually good practice for them to have that happen here in the conference championship.
Brielle Wilczuk, a season high 9.75 against Southern Utah back on January 30th, primarily in the 9.6 to 9.7 range, a couple 9.5s thrown in there. So kind of inconsistent this season as she's waiting to do her routine.
Just waiting for the judges to be ready. Again, there's 4 judges on every event in these conference and in postseason competition. So they all have to be on the same page on their scores, but have to be within a range together. They drop the high and the low and average the middle. Looks like she's getting ready to head over for her mount. Okay, she's gonna get started here. Straddle the handstand. Overshoots low bar. A little bit of form break there. You can see the separation in her legs and a little short of that handstand. A little short of that one as well. Giant with a half. Release move. Little short on that handstand. She's just lacking a little bit of energy here in this routine. And just a disappointing performance for them. It just looked like she was struggling a little bit to get her momentum. You see this here. Great release move. Difficult to do one of those at the end of your routine. So it just wasn't able to pull through and get that handstand ready for the dismount.
Next up on the vault for Utah State, it's Jillian Chappell.
Another Yurchenko full. Pretty big hop there on the landing. Again, they're just leaving the room for the judges to take those deductions. You can see her block. Her arms are a little bit bent. Again, finishing a little below the table. Slight deductions there, but strong vault.
Remember, 6 performers in each rotation for each team. You do get to drop the lowest score. Casey Gassaway for BYU.
See her average there is a 9.775, so strong performer on bars.
While these 2 schools we're watching, BYU, Utah State, Denver's on the beam, Southern Utah on the floor. Utah State sitting out right now is Boise State.
And we're just waiting for the judges. Straddle front Jaeger, great execution there, perfect distance away from the bar. Overshoot to handstand, great job toe hand, very difficult. And that transition to the high bar will get her some bonus tenths as well in that combination. Getting ready for her dismount here. That was nice, that was a double tuck with a half, blind landing and a stuck landing. That was a great job. Watch this here, a little different than we've seen. She does just a half twist on that double flyaway, but great job. She was able to spot it and land and stick that landing.
Mackenzie Martinez, one of the all-around performers for Utah State, getting her shot on the vault.
Nice job. That was a lot higher than some of the other gymnasts we've seen from this team. You can see she really finished the full twist and was able to spot the landing. Watch, she finishes and spots it. A little slight hop on the landing, so maybe a 10th or 2, but great job. We just
Next up, Mackenzie Johnson.
A cut of Elise Sakai Hart from DU on the beam there for just a split moment. This is an important rotation for DU. And the gymnasts use chalk on their grips that help them hold on to the bar.
All right, now we watch Mackenzie Johnson.
Again, she was a Gymnast of the Week for the conference about halfway through the season. Nice reverse hex. Overshoot to handstand, nice job. Good transition back to the high bar. Little short there. Giant with a full. A little bit of movement there on the landing. She had a strong routine, but she left some room for deductions on execution throughout the performance. Giant full. See, she finished that full just a little bit short. It made her really have to swing through and wing that double tuck dismount. But she was able to hold on and pull it through.
Miranda Kerr.
Nice height. That was a beautiful vault. One of the taller gymnasts on their team too. Similar to Sierra on Boise State and Rachel Feakin for DU. Nice job. She just gets great block, good height, distance from the horse. You should see a big score for that vault.
They have Miranda Kerr listed at 5'4". She seems taller than that, but great height there. Brittany Wild for BYU now on the bars.
Little short on the handstand there. A little bit of form breaks and that giant fold. That's a ginger. One of the more difficult release moves to do. Nice transition to the low bar. Nice handstand there. And double layout. Little step on the landing. That was a great routine. Again, she was a little short on that first handstand, but other than that, she had great execution throughout that performance. Here we go, and she does a double layout. Great extension. She does one of the best layout positions I've seen in this competition. Unfortunately, she had to take a little step on the landing, so it'll be a little bit of a deduction.
Michelle Yasukochi, final performer for Utah State on the vault.
Nice job. She had a little bit of loose middle there as she was twisting in that fold. If you watch, she gets a good block. A little bit of loose there in the middle, a little bit of pike down. Not quite as much amplitude as we saw from Miranda right before her, but a great job and a good finish.
Final competitor for BYU is Taylor Harward.
And we see her season average on bars is only a 9.4. Now this could be a little strategic. Sometimes if you put a gymnast at the end of the rotation that isn't one of your strongest, if the rest of your routines have built up through the course of the rotation, it can actually make this routine a little bit higher than you would get if you put them up earlier in the rotation. So we'll see what happens here.
BYU already has a 9.525 that they are hoping to drop.
It could also be that just consistency is part of that average. Nice Ginger release move. Giant with a full, little bit of loose body there. Good transition to the low bar. You see she caught that a little bit far away and had to drag her legs. That'll be about of a 0.3 of a point deduction. So she made it through that routine, but she had some difficult spots, and so it'll be interesting to see what she gets on this routine and if they end up dropping hers or that previous score that we saw that was the 9.525. The handstand here. Giant full. See how she's just a little bit loose and didn't quite finish that full twist on top. She was able to pull it out. She will get the bonus tens for that connection, but
Nina McGee on the bar for, excuse me, on the beam for Denver.
That was a scissor side leap. She gets such height on those leaps. Nice acrobatic series. She's had some trouble with that in previous meets on beam, and that's great to see her pull that out. They have had a strong beam performance. I know we weren't able to watch it, but they have had some great performances here on beam so far.
9.7s and 9.8s so far.
there. And a nice stuck landing. Great job. You can see the entire team is jumping up and down, and they're super excited for her. She's 5th in the rotation for the Pioneers on beam. They have one more performer. Watch this dismount. Watch the height she gets. And again, just drops out in a stuck landing.
Watching Stacy Webb finishing her floor routine for Southern Utah.
So your average is above a 9.8. Strong floor performer for them. Front handspring, front 1.5 twist. Great strong finish. Look at that flexibility. We're gonna get to see one of her other passes here. Front handspring, front full, punch front pike, stuck.
Denver coach Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt telling Julia Ross to breathe.
One of the most important things to do on beam is to breathe. Sometimes you forget to do that. She is a strong beam worker.
Denver has had a strong rotation on the beam after a so-so
performance
on balance bars, yes.
And she's their last performer. Again, Julia is their last performer on beam. She has a great mount. Very unique start. This is her acrobatic series. It's an aerial walkover into a back handspring. Nice job, great connection. This team is just an amazing beam team. We saw that from Utah State on beam, and this team just does such a good job on this event. Nice, oh, scissor ring leap. That is a difficult leap to do. It gets you bonus tenths, and that's why they do it. When you put your head back like that and try to touch your toes to your head, you lose sight of the beam. It's all about timing and feeling, and if you're just a little bit crooked, it's hard to hold that.
Congratulations, Marcy. I think that was your first broadcasting whammy this year.
I know I shouldn't have said what a great beam team they were until we finished, but they are super strong. Aerial cartwheel into a full. She finished strong. Really, the only deduction is that fall. We'll still see, you know, a 9.495 from her, even with that fall. Watch this dismount. Aerial cartwheel right over the middle and a full turn and a stuck landing.
And remember, Denver really strong scores here on the beam, so they are able to drop one if that happens to be the lowest of the scores. On the floor for Southern Utah, it's Virginia Brownswell.
And good solid finish.
So you got a little sampling of.
Here's one visit of her second pass. That's a punch front full into a front layout. Great height.
So as I said, got a little sampling of Southern Utah on the floor, Denver on the beam, while we're watching Utah State on the vault and BYU on the bars. We'll come back with some more highlights and, of course, scores as we're watching the Mountain Rim Championships on altitude. Welcome back to Denver. Good crowd here at Magnus Arena. A lot of kids checking out the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships. Mike Evans, Marcy Jenkins, and highlights of rotation for Denver on the balance beam.
And they had a great rotation. This is Katie Menhenick. Double twist and a stuck landing. You see, super excited about that finish on beam.
Rachel Felix.
And Rachel, again, strong. Gainer full off the side, stuck landing. We're seeing mostly dismounts here, but they just had a solid beam performance the entire time. This is Leah Lamonti. 1.5 twist. Again, they knew those landings were going to be critical to them to get those big scores.
While that was happening, Southern Utah on the floor with Tylee Bazzuto.
It's one of her passes. Double pike, a little bit low there, but she was able to pull it out.
Natalie Trejo.
And punch front 1.5 into a layout step out. Nice job on that pass.
And Brittany Jensen.
And a punch front layout into punch front full. Nice job on that pass as well.
Rotation 4 results. Utah State on the vault.
Strong vault for them. 49.8 is a great team score. You can see they had mostly 9.7s, a couple 9.8s. They were able to drop just a 9.7. So strong vault performance, but they did leave some room for deductions with those steps on the landing.
BYU struggled on the bars.
They did struggle. Look there, they had a 9.4 that they were able to drop, but they also had to keep a 9.5 and a 9.6. You really want everything above 9.7s or 9.8s ideally. So not the best bar performance for them.
After struggling on the bars, Denver rebounded strongly on the beam.
They did. You can see Nina's score of a 9.9. They were able to drop Julia Ross' score. Unfortunate, the 9.275, but look there, they had 3 9.8s, the 9.9, and then just a 9.75. So 49.2 is a strong beam score as a team.
And Southern Utah on the floor.
49.050, that's a great score for them. They had 3 9.8s and 2 9.7s. They were able to drop the 8.85. We weren't able to see what happened in that particular performance. Obviously, there were some issues, but great job for the rest of their team to come back from that first person having a bad performance.
Well, the buzz here at the scores table is it's coming right down to the wire for these conference championships. So we'll have the 5th and final rotation coming up next here from Denver on Altitude. Back here in Denver, the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships. Mike Evans, Marcy Jenkins, former DU gymnast, as this is for conference bragging rights, and then we look ahead to NCAA regionals, teams, individuals trying to qualify for that, and then the NCAA nationals. Here is Mackenzie Benyon on the bars for Boise State.
And Boise has a great bar team. A lot of amplitude. Look at those handstands. Getting ready for her dismount. Layout double flyaway. A little hop on the landing, so nothing more than a 9.9, but that was a great start for them. And a layout double flyaway. Just a little slight hop on that landing, but that was a great routine and an awesome start for them on this event.
In this 5th and final rotation, Denver will be on the floor, and they'll kick things off with Rachel Felix. Overall, how is Denver as a floor team?
Very strong. They have great performances. They have lots of difficulty, not only in their tumbling, but also in their dance. So it is going to really be about who executes, because Denver and Boise State are right neck and neck right now in terms of the scores.
See Melissa Kutcher-Reinhardt, the head coach. What is she typically saying to her performers right before they go out?
Well, it kind of depends on each athlete. Some need a little bit more motivation. Some need reminders of things to really think about as they're going through their routine. So it just depends. But this is a fun routine to watch.
And this is one where you can really feed off the crowd, can't you?
It is. It's the last rotation of this meet. It's the best place to finish, really, is on floor. If you can just contain the excitement to not get out of bounds on some of your passes. Double pike. Nice job. She really is a beautiful dancer.
Southern Utah's performing on the vault, BYU on the beam. Utah State sitting out this rotation. They're done.
Second pass coming up here. And it's a front handspring, front layout. That's unfortunate. I haven't seen her make that mistake before.
Felix has averaged just about a 9.8 on all of her floor routines this year.
That's just uncharacteristic for her.
But again, that mental toughness you need to keep it together.
That's true. And this is her last pass. Double tuck. Great job. A strong finish. It's just disappointing because that's going to be at least 3/10 of a point deduction for that fall.
Rachel Felix, remember, of the 6 performers, the lowest score, team score, is dropped.
And again, uncharacteristic, she doesn't do this front. She just didn't quite get her legs quite underneath her after that front layout to get the second flip, enough rotation.
Second up on the bars for Boise State, it's Maddie Krentz.
Nice handstand. Giant with a full. Reverse hecht. Nice height. Nice overshoot to handstand. Good job there. Dismount. Layout double flyaway. A little low. She just let go of the bar a little too soon and really had to pull it around for that landing. So it'll be a couple tenths, maybe 3/10 of a point deduction on that. Watch this transition, giant full, reverse hecht. That's her release move, one of her release moves. Handstand, overshoot to the lower.
Katie Minhinnick on the floor after Rachel Felix got a 9-1.
They really need the rest of their performers here to have the meat of their life. She does have a 9.825 average. Double pike. Nice job.
Did they all realize that now, knowing what happened with Rachel?
Yes, because they know that Boise State is such a strong team. Nice leaps all the way around in the execution, what the judges are looking for. Second pass. Two and a half twist to a punch front, just step out of bounds. The 1/10 off for sure, probably another for that step.
Coach Reinhardt right on the edge of the mat, on the floor, exhorting her.
It's an important last pass here. Double tuck, nice job. Little bit of pop out.
Katie Minhinnick.
Struggled a little bit with a couple of those passes, but she's able to hold on to it. This is a great first pass. Double pike, watch the height, and great landing. Just a little bit off on those passes.
Deanna Mahea, Boise State, as they continue their bar routine.
Nice handstand, giant pull to a ginger. Nice transition to the low bar. Really great routine so far. And full twisting double flyaway and a nice landing. That was a great bar performance. Watch the height she gets on this. She has a full twist on the first flip and then another flip and just spotted the landing.
Elise Sakai-Hart for Denver after Katie Minhinnick got a 9-6.
Not what Denver wanted at all. They wanted all 9/8s or above. They're leaving room for Boise.
They have Rachel Felix's 9-1 that they're planning on dropping.
She does a triple twist. So she's made it a 2.5 instead. Beautiful first pass. double tuck. Nice job.
You can tell by their facial expressions when they're feeling it out there, can't you?
Yeah, she's doing a great job. She feels super confident. Scissor ring leap. Great leap series there. And then resting for her last pass. She's really got to stick this landing. Come on. Nice job. That's the finish that they needed from her on floor.
Elise Sakai-Hart.
Great job. Here's that 2.5 twist. She warmed up a triple twist in warm-ups, but stuck with the 2.5. They knew she could do well. And look at that last pass. She left very little for deduction.
Denver needed that with Boise making a push, and now we're watching on the bars Kelsey Morris.
Kelsey has a great routine. I watched her in warm-ups. Every handstand was right on top. Transition to the high bar. Nice handstand there. And full twisting double flyaway. Really held on to that landing. They are having a great bar rotation. Watch this. Watch the height on this dismount. It goes above the bar. She almost even finishes that second flip before she comes below that high bar.
Nicole Addison getting ready to go for Denver on the floor. Now remember, Denver came in to this Mountain Rim Conference Championship 14th in the nation, Boise 15th. So you're looking at really two evenly matched squads that are really battling tonight.
They have less than 1/10 of a point between them in their regional qualifying score, which is their ranking score.
And both these programs, both these schools, you expect to move on to regionals.
They should both make it to regionals. Yes, the regional selection will happen next weekend. They'll select the top 2 teams for each region and kind of fill in after that. You want to be one of those top 2 teams, ideally. Double layout. Nice job. Oh, she stepped out of bounds. That'll be 1/10 of a point, but that's okay. She really didn't have any other major deductions other than that. Very difficult first pass to do. Second pass here. Nice job. 1.5 twist into a punch front layout. Difficult second pass. Was able to stay in bounds on that one. Nice leap there. Remember, she's a freshman. Great to see her doing this well. Her first season as a Pioneer. And last pass, double pike. Great finish. She has a lot of potential here with the Pioneers.
That kind of power as a freshman, pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. Exactly what they needed. Here's that second pass. It's a 1.5 twist into a punch front layout. Great job.
Next up for Boise is Christine Jacobson.
Pike front Jaeger. Good job. Transition to the low bar. Nice handstand. Beautiful toe point, legs together. Layout double flyaway and a stuck landing.
Boise
She
State.
really didn't leave anything for the judges to take off there.
Nothing but really 9/8s and 9/9s for
Such a
them.
strong bar team. Layout double flyaway. Look at that position and a stuck landing.
Maggie Laughlin. all of the Denver performers on the floor all pretty much average 9.8, so makes kind of some of these low scores at the early part of the routine surprising. Yeah.
And it makes it difficult to get anything higher. The judges are talking about the lines. So the gymnasts are allowed to use a mat on top of the floor. It's really to protect their ankles. In college, you know, you're a little bit older gymnast, and it just allows you to protect those ankles, and you can use those, but the judges have to be able to clearly see the lines so that they know if someone stepped out of bounds or not. They're having a little bit of a conference about that.
This unusual?
Not necessarily unusual. You can see Coach Carl giving her a little bit of advice while they're taking time to make sure that the lines on the floor are correct.
How difficult is this for somebody like Maggie Laughlin? She's ready to go, and now all of a sudden, stop.
It can be a little bit nerve-wracking, and she's really just got to focus and try not to let it get to her. Because this is a critical routine for the Pioneers. They need this routine. They need her execution here.
So they ripped up the tape. They're putting down fresh tape, fresh lines.
Fresh lines that line up with the floor, yes.
Here she goes.
Front tumbler.
Just want to mention on that previous bar routine, Christine Jacobson for Boise got a 9.95.
That was a beautiful routine. She really didn't leave anything for the judges to take off. You saw those leaps that Maggie did just there. Those were perfect. Double pike. Great landing.
Denver's got 9-1, 9-5, 9-8, 9-6 with their floor scores.
We'll have to see what Maggie and Nina are able to do here at the end of the rotation. They're leaving the door open for Boise, and they're just
kicking it down.
They're kicking it down on bars. Last pass. Nice job. That was a great, solid performance for them. She really did a great job in execution in her dance and her tumbling. Watch this last pass. Jam-packed with a lot of skills. It's a 1.5 twist to a front with a half to a straddle jump. Great job.
Sierra Perkins, who's had a terrific all-around meet.
She has great lines on bars. Look at the height on that reverse hex.
9th in the country. And her strength and power comes through on every event.
It does. Nice. Look at that. Full twisting double flyaway. Little hop on the landing. That's so unfortunate because she might have had a 10 if she had stuck that. That was such a high discount. Watch this. Watch the height she gets. She finishes that second flip almost before, look at that, before she even drops below the high bar.
And from one great gymnast to another, #1 in the nation on the floor, Nina McGee. Not the conference, the nation. Well, we have her second in the country, but
she's actually tied for first.
Averaging a 9.95.
And just sit back and watch this routine. And there's no one else competing on this floor right now. She's the last one in the competition. Everyone's eyes on her.
Get the sense she likes that?
She loves it. She's such a good dancer and so much fun. It's hard to imagine she sat out her freshman year with 2 leg injuries. Watch this. Double layout, made it look super easy. Watch the split in those jumps. She makes them all the way around. She's really not leaving anything for the judges to deduct. Getting ready for her second pass here. Front, pull into a layout. Nice job. All the other gymnasts are watching her. She drops out of it. Beautiful routine. And that was a great floor routine. You can see why she's #1 in the nation on floor.
Even the other teams are applauding
her.
McGee.
Watch this, front handspring, front pull, front layout. Beautiful. And this last pass, watch the height she gets. She drops out of it. Double pike.
Well, Denver needed it, but was it enough to offset a strong Boise State performance on the bars? We'll have some more highlights and final results coming up from the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships here on Altitude. Back here in Denver, Mike Evans and Marcy Jenkins, former DU gymnasts, as we have been watching the 5th of 5 rotations. And while Boise State was on the bars and Denver was on the floor, Southern Utah was on the vault. Check out some of their highlights, starting with Rochelle Bernier.
She did a full twisting Yurchenko vault. Nice stuck landing, a little bit of pike down there, but that was a great vault for them to start.
Then Danielle Ramirez.
Another full twisting Yurchenko. Not quite as much distance and height on the vault, but good execution.
And Stacy Webb.
And nice finish. Just a little step on the landing, but great job on the vault for them.
BYU on the beam with Emily Vidmar.
And she did an aerial walkover into a 2-foot back handspring. A little bit of bobble there, but nice connection. And punch front 1.5 dismount.
Jordan Schultz. And Ashley Robinson.
And this is her dismount. It's a gainer off the end. Strong beam for them as well.
Let's check out those results. Southern Utah on the vault.
Strong for them. A 49.050 is great. They had 2 9.7s. The rest were 9.8s. They got to drop one of those 9.7s. Strong performance for them, exactly how they wanted to finish out this meet.
Boise State crushed it on the bars.
They did a 49.4. That is an incredible score as a team. Look at that. They had 2 9.9s, multiple 9.8s. Just such a great job. They're really, really strong bar workers, and they have to be proud of that performance.
Beam results for BYU.
They had a few strong performances, but some falls. So they had to count a low score of a 9.1. But they had 2 9.8s, 3 9.8s, and a 9.6. So 48.25 is pretty good with the 2 routines they had with mistakes.
And for Denver, below average for them, performance on the floor.
Definitely below average. Rachel Felix really never falls. That's unfortunate. Kind of got them started on a little bit of a low score. Katie had a little bit of issues, but they finished off. The rest of the people were strong. Nina's routine was great.
We'll have the final results coming up next. It's the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships. Final results coming up on Altitude. Good crowd on hand at the University of Denver Magnus Arena for the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships here on Altitude. And we've watched a lot of terrific individual performances, Marcy, and we're getting ready for the individual results here in just a second. overall, thoughts on the meet?
I think it was a great competition. There were some mistakes here and there that some of the teams made. I think Denver would have wished they had a better floor performance, but you know, sometimes at this point of the season, right before going to regionals, it's kind of a gut check. It's kind of a reality check to say, oh my gosh, like we really, you know, we need to make sure that we're hitting those prepared. So I know that Melissa will have a lot to talk about with the Pioneers, but everyone else had pretty good performances. We had a few form breaks here and there that folks need to clean up prior to regionals, but ultimately everyone did a great job.
So again, what's at stake here out of this meet is you're looking for these individual performers and teams, specifically Denver and Boise, to do enough to qualify for regionals.
And for all of the other teams, this counts as an away score. So for their regional qualifying score, they count a number of away scores and a number of home scores and average them together. So for DU, this is going to be a home score. It's actually not a big deal because it wasn't going to dramatically affect their regional qualifying score if they got another great home score. So for them, from a regional qualifying perspective, this wasn't a huge deal. But for the other teams like Boise, having a strong performance here is just going to bump up their regional qualifying score, and they may even move up in the rankings this week.
This is only the second year of the Mountain Rim Conference. You know, as somebody who's performed, you performed here. I mean, overall, when you look at the overall strength of this conference and gymnastics in this part of the country, what stands out?
It's a great conference. All of the teams are extremely strong. We don't have anyone with really any big gaps. There's just a couple teams that need to improve on their difficulty. I think BYU and Utah State need to get a little bit more difficulty in some of their routines. But overall, this is a really strong conference.
All of the gymnasts out on the main floor mats here as they're all waiting for the final results. We'll take a quick timeout and come back with all of the final results for you. It's the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference Championships, and you're watching it right here on Altitude. Look at some of the gymnasts out on the main floor here at Magnus Arena waiting for final results. We can show some of the individual results for you right now, starting with the vault. The best of the best on vault here amongst the 5 teams.
We saw a lot of great vaults in the competition. First, you can see Rachel Felix at 9, actually a tie for first place, really, with Rachel Felix, and then 2 folks from Boise State, Nina McGee, 9.85 in 4th place, and then the rest tied 9.85. So strong performance across the board, mostly Denver and BSU, a couple Southern Utah and University of Utah fitting in there with it 9.85s as well.
Final results for the bars.
And from Boise State, again, look at that. They had strong performances, 9.95. See Nina McGee's 9.9. Another couple from BSU with 9.9s and 9.875s. And then Julia Ross finished up in 5th with a 9.85. So again, really, really strong performance from Boise State on bars.
Beam results.
And beam, there's that 9.9 from Nina McGee. She did a great job. Again, Denver really strong on beam tonight. Sakai Hart in 2nd place, Leah Lamonte in 3rd. And then we can see really that Southern Utah team that had such a strong beam rotation fitting in there in the rest of the places.
And finally, the floor results.
Nina McGee again, 9.95 from Denver. Elise Sakai Hart with 9.875. And then the top performer from Boise State, 9.875, and you can see the rest kind of falling out there. But having Nina McGee finish at 9.95 on the season on floor just shows why she's ranked so high in the nation on this event.
Okay, unofficial results, so we can tell you that Boise State finished 1st, Denver finished 3rd, Southern Utah in there at 2nd, and BYU in 4th place. So we'll look forward to the regionals coming up here, and then the nationals. That'll do it for us, for Mike Evans and our entire Pioneer Vision production crew, and along with Marcy Jenkins. It's been so much fun working again with you. Another year of doing it. Saying so long from Magnus Arena at the University of Denver, where you've been watching the Mountain Rim Championships. Thank you for joining us for an incredible season of Pioneer Gymnastics. Check your local broadcasting schedule for more University of Denver athletics on Altitude TV. This has been a production of Pioneer Vision. Good night, everybody.